If you strip away the massive stone infrastructure of the Roman Empire, the aqueducts, the paved roads, the towering marble temples, and watch it all vanish, you are left with the reality of the first-century Christian movement. They had no buildings, no central headquarters, and no physical footprint. Looking at this map of the ancient Mediterranean, you won't find a capital city or an institutional hub for these early believers. To survive, they operated as a decentralized human network. This was a human internet. Messengers physically carried letters from town to town, serving as the only connective tissue between isolated communities. These traveling messengers operated under a strict financial rule. They refused to take funding from local populations outside the faith, the Gentiles. By rejecting external money, their message remained independent and uncompromised. This lack of external income created a harsh operational requirement: radical hospitality. These messengers relied entirely on local hosts at each destination to provide a bed, a meal, and the financial means to reach the next city. The early church's expansion relied on a massive, highly vulnerable chain of absolute trust. The entire logistical system of this network could be halted by a single locked door. While history often focuses on Roman soldiers hunting these communities, a far more immediate danger came from within. Local actors began intentionally sabotaging the movement's supply lines. 3 John enters the historical record as an urgent dispatch from an author known as the Elder. This document functions as a piece of ancient crisis management correspondence, written to address a systemic failure in the network. The Elder writes because he has discovered a breakdown in the system. A vital supply chain of communication has been deliberately blocked from the inside. The greatest threat to this movement was a localized power grab that successfully severed its lines of communication. The architect of this blockade is a local leader named Diotrephes. In verse 9, the Elder identifies his motive as a desire for preeminence, a drive for absolute, uncontested control over his local community. Diotrephes slams his doors shut, refusing to host messengers and enacting a local embargo. He pairs this with a misinformation campaign, using malicious words to undermine the Elder's authority. Finally, to ensure compliance, Diotrephes forcibly ejects anyone who attempts to aid the travelers. This is a hostile, localized coup. Diotrephes has hijacked a community to consolidate his own power. The Elder faces a severe logistical disadvantage. He is physically distant, stranded across the sea, and cannot immediately travel to resolve the rebellion in person. Diotrephes weaponized the extreme fragility of the decentralized network, turning the system of radical hospitality into a mechanism for a localized dictatorship. The Elder designs a written countermeasure to bypass the rogue leader. He drafts this letter to establish a direct connection with a loyalist operating inside the community, a man named Gaius. In verses 5 through 8, the Elder validates Gaius for his continued financial and logistical support of the traveling messengers. Despite the local pressure to comply with the embargo, Gaius has remained a functional part of the network. The Elder issues a specific command: Gaius must continue funding the travelers and send them forward in a manner worthy of God. To follow this instruction, Gaius must openly defy Diotrephes. To deliver these orders, the Elder relies on Demetrius. As a highly vouched-for courier, Demetrius carries this letter, the physical proof of the Elder's authority, straight into hostile territory. The letter acts as an emergency routing protocol, engineered to bypass compromised leadership and keep the movement's information flowing. Gaius and Demetrius represent the ultimate fail-safes of the movement. They are individual actors forced to circumvent corrupted authority to preserve the organization's core mission. The Elder instructs Gaius, "Do not imitate what is evil, but what is good." He uses the immediate logistical crisis to reveal a broader behavioral principle. The text places 2 distinct models of behavior side by side. Diotrephes demonstrates ego-driven isolation, while Gaius models community-driven hospitality. The Elder anchors the letter on the concept of walking in truth. In this context, truth manifests as a physical, measurable action. Opening a home, funding a traveler, and defying a toxic local leader are the literal embodiments of that truth required for the movement to survive. In the final lines, the Elder admits he has much more to say, but chooses to set aside his pen and ink. He recognizes that written workarounds are temporary measures. Restoring order ultimately requires his physical presence. Behind the survival of any major movement are ordinary individuals. Their micro-decisions to either support or sabotage ultimately decide whether their truth lives or dies.